presented by EA Sports and the PGA Tour. Well, it's truly a pleasure to be in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. We're in University Place, Washington, and the golf course is relatively new to golf fans, Chambers Bay, and what a magnificent-looking golf course.
And it's building up quite a reputation very, very quickly, and the reason why, well-designed, good test for any level of play. There's enough options out there, enough long holes, enough short holes, so pick your poison, really. But make sure you're on your game, because Chambers Bay, it'll test anyone to the limit.
So we're ready to get the round going here at Chambers Bay, and we'll begin, Frank, at the first with a par 4.
496 yards, obviously that'll stretch anybody out there. That bunker down the right is very much in play. The fairway does narrow out too, just short of that. So this really is going to require one of your best tee shots. Semi-blind second shot, a relatively big green.
He has given this one the full treatment. Perfect release through the ball. And this shot is on the fairway, over 300 yards. Now the approach here at hole number 1, and Frank, what are we looking at?
Well, semi-blind, but it's fine. You know, just a little peek and you can see what's in front of you. Really no bunkers down the left side. If you do miss down there, a little chip back up the hill, but it's a big enough green.
Didn't check, Frank.
Yeah, just not enough spin on that, really. I mean, that almost like took that first bounce and just ricocheted forward.
Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
Ready for his third shot. Needs to hit this close. Nice approach shot. He'll be happy with that. Well, in the sand, but it has been raked nicely, looking for something positive. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. Oh, he's gonna love it. Great putt. Here's Ricky Fowler for par. Nudge this one home, finish it up. Just a shade over par, +1. Ready to tee off here at the second. Frank, what's it all about?
Well, you hit your tee shot here through the dunes, Rich, not overly long, just under 400 yards. The bunker on the left really shouldn't be a problem. Just avoid the dunes on the right and left.
Not quite what he wanted. Tee shot is in the bunker.
Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like. That one is just a little offline, and that will not end up in the fairway. Yeah, about 150 yards left here, Frank.
This looks like it's going to find the target.
Frank, how good was that just to get it on the green?
Well, from that shot there, you would have thought for sure that there was no chance he had of finding the green. That was some shot.
Here, now the second shot. It's 120 yards.
It's no snack, though.
So just getting started, even par so far. Not a gimme, but well within his range.
Even par currently.
In for par. At the third tee now, Frank, and what are we staring at here?
This green is anything other than symmetrical, so be very, very cautious on where the flag is. Anything in the middle of the green you can putt to the corners, well, if you can call them corners, more like ragtails, but beautiful par 3.
Headed for the bunker? Well, he'd like to have that one back in the bunker.
Still a chance to get it up and down.
Second shot. Good look at the green. Well, the stats say that is a green hit in regulation, but it's not yet a par on the card. Very tough putt coming up. This is a pretty long putt here. You'd be happy to get this to within 2 or 3 feet. You really want to take the stress out of that next putt. I thought that was in.
Yeah, it looked good. I mean, line, pace. It's hard to be critical of that.
All right, so greenside bunker. What's he looking to do with this shot, Frank?
Well, really you have to look at the amount of green you got to play with. You don't have to try and fly the ball right by the flag. Allow it to run. Plus, if you can get it to run like a putt, you never know. It might just go in.
You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Just singes the edge, Frank.
Yeah, but at least he's burning the edges. You know you're hitting good putts.
So just a formality here. Putt drops. Now at 1 over par. Has this now for bogey. To 1 over par early on in this round. Frank, standing here on the 4th tee at Chambers Bay, you can see what this golf course is all about with those dunes on the left and all that sand down on the right. A lot of trouble here.
Yeah, first hole, Rich, really that bends to the right, but if anything, you want to keep the tee shot down the left side. It's going to give you a better angle to the green. And unlike the 2 previous holes, this fairway slopes to the other direction, to the right.
Frank, it makes the game easy when you play it from the fairway.
Especially when you play it from a lie like that.
Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
You wouldn't call that a miss-hit, but it wasn't his best. That one just sort of drifted right and a long ways from the flagstick.
Second shot.
Seems to like it. Looks like it's headed for the green. Just want to nestle this one down to within a couple of feet.
Oh, how did that miss?
Are you kidding me? I mean, that one was dead center. Getting set now over the putt. Might be. Could be.
No, Rich, that was a huge putt. You don't expect to make them from that distance.
Just a couple of feet. He needs this for bogey. So they'll tap in. So with that, 3 over par now for the round. Frank, it's kind of fun to swing away on an elevated tee like this, the 5th here at Chambers Bay.
It looks straight away. It certainly does. And under 500 yards, so it gives you a chance, plus that elevation. You should be able to knock one down there. The whole pinch is in, though, with those bunkers left and right. And there's just one bunker in the front of this green. And that, as you can guess, should be avoided.
Be careful. They call this hole free fall. Well, the tee shot has landed in the bunker.
I've seen some long tee shots, but it's the advantage to tee that ball up. Get it up there quickly, get the wind behind you. It's amazing how far you can hit it.
Missed the fairway in the fairway bunker now.
It's not all gloom and doom, though. Lip isn't too high. A good swing here still shouldn't be a problem.
Chance for birdie after that beautiful shot. Ready for a second shot, trying to knock it on the green. Appears to be what they call a commercial play, very solid. Birdie chance here. Very long putt, though.
Got to be a little careful if it gets away on him.
Did a nice job with that putt. Good read, good speed. Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. Came to the putt excited to make birdie. Now, settle for par.
Yeah, little change in the attitude right now. When you've let one go, you've got to really knuckle down there and make sure you don't drop a shot. It's important that this one goes in.
Still playing even for the day after the par. He has this attempt for par. That is a solid par putt. Ready to tee off here at the 6th. Frank, where are you looking to land the ball off the tee here?
Well, as long as it's not in the rough, the bunkers, well, there's no trees here, really. That little green strip, that runway down there, another hole that bends to the right, but find the fairway. The fairway's wide enough. You've got a pretty good idea exactly where you want to go. And once again, this is one of the shorter par fours. So good drive here, just a short iron in.
Wayward from the tee, and this one is headed for the rough, Frank. That appeared to be a good strike right there, Frank.
Oh, good. It's just towering. Look at that, hanging in the sky.
That's in the fairway. You'll need to be strong with this. Frank did the prudent thing there, didn't he?
Yeah, in the end, really, you could have turned that into a disaster instead. I'd see a good chance, really, to perhaps get away with par. Rich, now's the time to knuckle down. I know things haven't gone right up to this point, but really, this is where you can still get something out of it. Just give yourself that opportunity. You're good enough.
Beauty of golf, Frank. One good strike comes off the center of the bat, one good result, and you begin to feel differently about things.
That's an absolute beauty.
Frank, what do you think about this approach here at the 6th?
Well, one of the few greens here that's protected on both sides. Rather narrow green, and you can see really what happens if you miss. Bunkers left and right. Plus there's a couple of ridges, so club selection is important here.
Pretty good shot right there. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. One over for the day. Just a tap in to finish the hole. Did the job right there. On the 7th tee now, it is over 500 yards from the back tee.
Yeah, this is called humpback, and you can see why there's all those mounds and undulations between you and the hole, plus all that amazing bunkering down the right side. All to be avoided, really. If you can do that, then you get a decent look at this green. But yeah, you've mentioned it, 500 plus yards. It's going to play longer than that uphill. Long and straight.
That's how you do it. High winds, high scores. Let's see if he can put something together late.
Now, this is not heading in the right direction.
You know, it looks like it's going to be in the rough. Frank, he is one of the longest hitters in the game, but at some point, you have to hit a fairway.
Yeah, he's certainly not the straightest. I think that was the bit you're going to put in the middle.
Second shot coming out of the rough here. Headed for the bunker? A bit unfortunate in the bunker, Frank.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what his bunker play's like.
Now the approach shot here at the 7th, Frank, and this one is up the hill.
It is, and the green is sort of split into thirds. There's a little piece back left, there's a piece back right, and that bigger portion in the front. So once again, you've got to choose what shot am I trying to hit, and do I have the right club?
Digs into the bunker, getting set to play the 3rd shot. Great shot coming out of that bunker right there.
Showing some skills today.
Frank, you like his chances to walk away with a par here?
Well, with a good shot, Rich, yeah, that's certainly on the cards in that. And you think you just write a par down at the end of the hole, don't tell anyone about it. It certainly won't affect the scorecard at the end of the day. So that's the goal right here.
Either misjudged the win or simply just pulled the wrong club, Frank.
Going to take some skill now.
Now a 7-footer. Those keep the round going, those par putts. Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. So he has that for bogey. I can't help but think that the double bogey back on the 4th hole seems to have really put him off his game. Now to the 8th and a long par 5, Frank.
Fortunately, there's no bunkers, just the dunes either side. The hole looks a little narrow off the tee, but get down there, you're going to realize that's a fairly generous fairway. There's a little bit of mounding in this green, too, that actually slopes it back towards the player. So use that to your advantage.
Into the tall cabbage. That ball is swallowed up. Right where they were aiming, in the fairway. Frank, this ball's in the rough. You like to hinge just a little bit quicker on the takeaway when the ball is down like this?
No, when it's down, you've just got to make sure that you wind up almost like you're hitting a tee shot. This is not one to be dallied with. You've got to hit it powerfully, and you really have to focus on that club getting through the grass, past the ball, and out the other side. Good recovery shot. Couldn't make the green, but at least he's back in play.
Played the smart shot right there. Second from an excellent lie. Frank, the approach shot here at the 8th, and what's a player looking at?
Well, you've got no bunkers really to worry about, but obviously a lot of undulation. You can see there that if you use the contours, that ball's going to kick around a little bit. Relatively narrow, but this is not a problem. You can go in here low or high.
Not terrible, but not his best.
Yeah, outside chance really for birdie, but really it was a rather poor approach shot.
So going well up the hill to that green, will need to take an extra club here. Good swing, good shot yet again. This is a pretty long putt here. You'd be happy to get this to within 2 or 3 feet. You really want to take the stress out of that next putt. Frank, he might like this one. He might like... Oh, he's got a lot.
No, Rich, that was a huge putt. You don't expect to make them from that distance. Really. This is that awkward length.
This is a par bid for Fowler. Chases that in for par to stay at 4 over. Finishing up our front side here at the 9th, it's a par 3. And Frank, how would you describe this hole?
Well, it's an absolute stunner, really, because of the views. And this is where you realize that links golf, minus trees and minus some of the things we see on other golf courses, can still look absolutely beautiful. But don't look at the scenery too much, because you've got, well over 200 yards here. Even though it's elevated, it still requires a good tee shot. But a little 2 here, and you might just have yourself a good outward 9. There's a bunker over there.
I think he's headed for it.
Well, Mr. Ball does not meet Mr. Fairway. It's off, rough.
Second shot coming out of the rough here.
It's tough to take an extra club out of that lie, Rich, because it's always in the back of your mind, if you hit it properly, it's going to ML the green.
Gave that one everything he had. I mean, really gouged it, and still, it was short. On the green, Frank, but might need a pair of binoculars to see the hole.
He's a long way from the band. You can barely hear the music from that far away.
You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Just ideal. Good speed on that putt, and just a tap in remaining. Ball sitting down here in the rough. He's digging in. This is an 11-foot putt.
Rich, you got to tell me what happened. I covered my eyes on that one.
Another bogey. What else? So, Frank, that's a bogey, and you see something with the body language here?
Yeah, I think we noticed that back there with that double bogey, Rich. Since then, it's almost like doubts crept in, a little bit of uncertainty. That is the beauty of this game at times, but really, if you want to be a champion, that's one thing that you have to change. Somehow, you've got to forget what's just happened. We haven't seen that yet.
But this could be really good, Frank.
Oh, straight at it.
Well, the tee shot has landed in the bunker. Wow, that is a monster drive down there, about 315 yards. About 120 yards to the hole. Frank, that reminds you of maybe what, the greatest bunker player of all time? All right, Frank, what's the best way to approach the 10th?
Well, this is probably the flattest green on the golf course, Rich, and really, if you miss this green, you've made a mistake. There's no two ways about it. It's probably the most predictable second shot you're going to have on the golf course.
Getting set now over the putt.
Oh, good roll, good putt.
Back to par for the round. Now on to the 11th, and Frank, we are looking at a long par 4 in front of us.
We are indeed, and it's called shadows, but there is love in the shadows here. Hit it over that dune down there in the middle of the fairway. If you can get it there around the 300-plus yard mark, then the hole obviously starts to get a little easier. That second shot, you'd like to hit a little bit of a cut in here, but there's two levels to this green, so make sure you're on the right level where that flag is.
We moved that one out there, but he is not going to like the lie.
That moved down in the rough.
Pretty good drive here.
Another straight one.
Players bracing against these strong, gusty winds. Really a challenge out there. That's a heck of a poke right there. 310 yards and in the fairway. Second shot from the rough. It's on the way. Headed for the bunker? That one is in the bunker. The 11th hole, Frank, what's the right way to get at it?
Just got to be cognizant of that ridge that cuts through the middle of this green that sort of turns this green into one simple green and all these little complex sort of sections. That's the biggest thing, but that's also, you realize very, very quickly, you're playing links golf today.
That is tasty looking right there, Frank. Just a perfect spot in the fairway.
That is prime real estate. How do you get a lie like that? Seriously, you could hit any club from that.
Digs into the bunker, getting set to play the third shot. Did the smart thing there, Frank. Took his medicine, back out onto the fairway. Slight waggle, relaxed arms, ready to go. Frank, you've been around this game for a pretty long time. Are players, in fact, more athletic today than they were, say, 20, 25 years ago?
There's no question, Rich, they are. That we've borrowed from other sports. If you can't make the player better, you can make them more athletic. And in the end, you're still making the golfer better.
On the way. And that is a cross-country putt right there.
Up and over the ridge. That's a seagull.
Long putt here. This will require a good touch. All right, hanging in. That's a par and 4 over. The 12th here at Chambers Bay is known as the Narrows. What's the play here, Frank?
2, really. You could just sort of iron it down there, have a little wedge or a pitch in there with no sweat whatsoever. Or, if you want to have a little bit of fun, if you can drive it over that bunker that's just short left of this green, you might just putt for an eagle.
Well, we'd like to have that one back in the bunker.
Still a chance to get it up and down.
And the tee shot ends up in the bunker. That one is bunker bound, it looks like. Not what he wanted, but he's headed to the beach. Just wants to hit about an inch behind the ball. This one looks like it's headed right for the middle of the dance floor, Frank.
Rather nice shot, I would say.
Great shot coming out of that bunker right there.
Showing some skills today.
Digs in, ready for the bunker shot.
Yeah, second shot here. Just try and aim a little bit behind that ball, an inch or two.
Well, this would put a charge into the gallery. Birdie try for Ricky Fowler. Beginning the long climb back, now to 3 over par. Settles in over the putt. So with that, the score is now at even par. 13th hole now, it's a dogleg right, par 4. Frank?
But at 534 yards, you need an eagle eye, which is the name of the hole, to find exactly where you want to hit this. Doglegs to the right. There is a fairway that's plenty wide to accept a good tee shot. And then from there on in, it's actually a relatively straightforward second shot, providing you can miss that bunker that's just short in the middle of the green.
Good tee shot, right in the short grass.
Oh, if this is up, it's good. Second shot.
Knocks it up on the green. It is about 28 feet away from the hole. Good lie in the fairway. A good chance to make something happen here. Well, this is the kind of wind that separates the great players from the average players. You really have to be strong to handle these kinds of winds. Frank, a bunker in front of the green here. So how does that impact what the player's going to do?
Well, it's not just the bunker, too. It's the ridges left and right that are going to repel a shot. So if you go too far left with that bunker in front of the green or too far right, that ball's going to kick all the way off the green. So really, that bunker's a good line, but you've got to carry it.
Birdie chance here. Very long putt, though.
Got to be a little careful if it gets away on him.
Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. Can't make it, Frank, if you don't hit it.
Hubert Green once said, 99% of putts left short don't go in. I don't know what happened to the other 1%, but...
Just a couple of feet. Still playing even for the day after the par. Just a tap in to finish the hole. Been a rocky road to this point. 4 over par on the round. Frank, now to the 14th hole, and this is the 5th consecutive par 4 here at Chambers Bay, and by this point the players will know whether they're on their game or off their game.
At 546 yards, this hole can be shortened considerably if you choose to take a brave line down the left side. You can chew off as much as 70 or 80 yards. But once again here, because the hole bends to the left, you've really got to know which direction that wind is coming from.
Wow, he moved that a long ways right in the fairway.
You know, this is not heading in the right direction.
No, it looks like it's going to be in the rough.
Well, where this ball's going, there's no fairway there, only rough.
Second shot coming out of the rough here. Not terrible, but not his best.
Outside chance, really, for birdie, but really, it was a rather poor approach shot.
Frank, what do you want to do with the approach here at the 14th?
Just use that, the mounding that's sort of supplied there in front of you, the right side of the screen, maybe kick it towards it. There is a, sort of runoff area to the left, but then all of a sudden you're in the sand. So keep the ball slightly right of center.
Needs a pair of binoculars to see the hole.
Well, that takes the strain off the next one.
Good lag putt right there. This one just requires a little bit of focus. Makes the putt and goes to 1 under. Par bid here. Chases that in for par to stay at 4 over. Frank, normally on a golf course, you don't want to spend too much time in the trees, with the trees, around the trees, but part of me wants to go up and and hug this tree because he's all alone. It's the only tree on the whole golf course.
Well, I know you're a tree hugger, Rich, I really do. But at 246 yards, when they play this off the back tee at the US Open, believe me, nobody's hugging that tree. They're just trying to make three.
Not quite what he wanted. Tee shot is in the bunker.
There's a bunker over there.
I think he's headed for it. Just a bit offline and into the bunker. Now from the bunker.
Yeah, just a little splash out on this par 3.
Just inside about 15 feet from the hole. So getting set for a greenside bunker shot. Frank, when I think of the great bunker players in the history of the sport, I think about Gary Player, Seve Ballesteros, who you knew so well. What did they do that made them so effective on these greenside bunker shots?
They had an attitude for a start that was different. For them, it was, they saw possibilities. And they would imagine the amount of sand. Remember, because this is the only shot in golf where you don't have to hit the ball first. So they would really choose the amount of sand behind the ball, whether that was an inch or two. Aimed the club at that and made sure they followed through.
Not a gimme, but well within his range. -1 for the day. Getting set to take on the finishing holes here at Chambers Bay. How do you do it in the right way, Frank?
Well, when you look down this fairway, obviously everything slopes left to right. That makes this hole actually play a little bit more of a dogleg to the right, even though it doesn't look it. And then, of course, that green up ahead, it's like a tabletop. So precision here is absolutely paramount.
Great strike and a great result. Sitting up, good chance to attack the flag. Frank, this one's not looking good.
Yeah, it's certainly not down the fairway line, heading toward the rough.
And it looks like it's in the rough there, Frank.
It might not be as bad as it looks.
Second shot coming out of the rough here. Frank did the prudent thing there, didn't he?
Yeah, in the end, really, you could have turned that into a disaster. Instead, actually a good chance, really, to perhaps get away with par.
Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really, the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
Well, this one should be safely on deck here. Well, that is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's a formality now.
Ricky Fowler, a Gen X superstar, ready with his approach shot. Miss hit, wrong club. What happened there, Frank?
All of the above, maybe. It's a little bit of a head scratcher. It wasn't that hard a shot.
Frank, he has to be scratching his head as he reaches for a sand wedge or a gap wedge for his next shot.
Well, you know, the FedEx Cup, Rich. I mean, you're meant to get there by 10:30 tomorrow. That thing's still going.
Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. Just a sloppy hole, no other way to say it, and it results in a double bogey. Makeable putt right here. He is currently sitting at 1 under for the round. Bottom of the barrel, and now to 2 under. Frank, you don't need just a caddy out here at Chambers Bay. Seems like you need a sports psychologist. You start thinking about the names of these holes. Beached at 16, and what's 17 called?
Derailed, and you can see why too. That green's perched up there. If you've got the round going in the wrong direction, this is not a hole to start on. So if you've got a run going, it's just a good tee shot that lands around the front there, and you just take a 3 here. This is not a time to be a hero.
Just a pure strike and a perfect result. He'll have a good look at birdie now.
In the direction of the sand.
Looks like it. Not quite what he was hoping for. The tee shot in the bunker. You know how to play this shot, Frank, right? You keep your chin up, you look down your nose at the ball, you have to pick it cleanly and keep your head still. Ricky over the putt for par. And he has it, Frank.
I don't believe it.
Shouldn't be a problem here. Three under on the day. Now to the 18th hole, Frank, everyone wants to finish in style.
Yeah, the home hole here, once again you head back to just a wonderful view, and you realize that Chambers Bay was designed as a walk-in golf course, and it was designed to have fun and test every department in your game. 18 will do that. It probably gives you more trouble on both sides of the hole than any other hole on the golf course.
Well, a bit unfortunate in the bunker, Frank.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what his bunker plays like.
Excellent looking shot here. Well, that was a beautiful drive, Frank. Really good position to take advantage.
Sitting up beautifully in the fairway.
Frank, just a slight miss off the tees in the fairway bunker.
Yeah, just really got to pick the right club once again. Sometimes you take a little bit more club out of the fairway bunker, choke down.
His second shot. Out of the sand and back on the fairway.
Yeah, good shot. Just really utilized that little bit between the ears. Realized he couldn't reach the green and instead opted for fairway.
Second from an excellent lie. Frank, that ball's sitting up like it's on plush carpeting.
Rich, if you and I had lies like that every time, we'd still be playing this game for a living.
Frank, on an uphill shot like this one, did you do anything differently in terms of your setup over the ball?
Yeah, I made sure the ball wasn't too far forward, because on an uphill shot, there's always a struggle to get all your weight going forward.
Great way to finish off the final approach shot with a birdie opportunity. Frank, you want to finish with one good swing here, the approach shot to the 18th hole.
I don't think there's a flat putt on this green, Rich. There's so many different sections. We said the course was like a maze. This 18th green can be like a maze. If you're on the right portion, then obviously that certainly helps, but there's so many different levels to this green.
Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. Beautiful roll on that one, right in the bottom. Fowler for birdie. Just a couple of feet. Hoping to drop only one shot, this for bogey. Blemish on the scorecard, a bogey. So Frank, as we put a wrap on the day, it wasn't his best performance, but there's always tomorrow in golf.
Yeah, you still got to keep your head high. Golf's a game that's going to be it's going to bring everybody to their knees now and again, but dream for a better day, and it could be just around the corner.
And there'll be an